In today's video, I'm going to define shame in a bigger what it means to be human context, and I'll share a story to illustrate a young girl experiencing healthy shame. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of what healthy shame is and what its purpose is. To understand shame, it's important to recognize what social creatures we are as humans. We are totally hardwired to connect, to attach, and to belong to others. And for us to feel fundamentally okay deep in our bones, we need to feel accepted, valued, and seen for who we are by those that matter to us. When we feel this deep sense of okayness with others, our nervous system just calms right down, and we go about living our lives embodying a sense of security and confidence, which gives us the freedom to be who we are. Now, shame is the shadow side of this core human need. When we don't feel accepted, valued, and seen by people who matter to us, we experience the opposite of okayness. We feel shame, the little talked about primal emotion that lets us know in no uncertain terms that things are definitely not okay. So shame communicates to us with a painfully vulnerable feeling state that strikes us deep at the core of our sense of self. When we feel shame, we feel exposed in our flaws. We feel disconnected. We feel alone and like something is wrong with us. Okay, so now I want you to imagine one of your ancestral tribes. And I want you to think of a young girl about 4 years old who runs into the center of a gathering of adults who are having a serious discussion. Now, this little girl is excited. She's just figured out how to jump on one foot for the first time. So she's shouting joyfully, showing off to her parents, her aunts, her uncles, and all the others, fully expecting them to share in her joy. But because it's not an appropriate time for this kind of interruption, the chief of the tribe looks at the little girl questioningly. Now, in an instant, the girl's internal brakes rein in her excitement, and inside she feels this sinking feeling and heaviness in her chest. Her head lowers and her eyes turn away from the others. What she's experiencing in that moment is the universal human experience of shame. It's the innate human response that we all have that results from the mismatch between our inner experience and the response of the people around us. In this story, the little girl fully expects the joy and the excitement that she feels when she bursts into the gathering to be shared by her elders. And because it wasn't, she experienced a totally natural shame response. Head down, eyes averted, painfully self-conscious, and the feeling, the full body mind feeling that something is wrong. Now here's where it gets really interesting. At this point, there is a wound in the girl's relationship with her elders. Now, depending on how this wound is treated, in this case by her parents, it's going to determine whether she's able to learn from the experience with her sense of self remaining intact, or if shame continues to live unresolved within her nervous system. So if the little girl's mom and dad were to gently scoop her up into their arms, take her outside of the hut, and explain the situation while assuring her that they're totally excited to see her one-legged jumping when the meeting's over. If this is the case, then the little girl could learn from her instinctive and healthy shame reaction what's appropriate behavior in the context of the tribe. And because her parents understand, she doesn't feel like she's a bad person. She still feels connected, and she even learns that she can make a repair when she makes a mistake. So, as you can see, shame is an incredibly potent way to communicate what's acceptable and safe in social groups. In fact, if used sparingly, healthy shame can save lives. For example, when a parent scolds a child about to touch a stovetop or jump from a high cliff. But whether shame is healthy or toxic depends on how a person's shame reaction is handled with his or her social group. If, as in this story, the shamed girl remains in connection with her people and receives the message that it's not her that's wrong, but the time and the place of her behavior, then this is going to soothe her shame reaction, calming her nervous system, and that will allow her to learn from the experience. Now, in the next video in this series, which you can access by clicking the card, somewhere up here, we'll take a look at how shame turns toxic. But before you go, I have a question for you. You can answer in the comments down below. What has been your experience with shame, and how has it impacted the sense of who you are? Leave a comment below and let me know. Oh, and one more thing. I put together a toxic shame quiz to help you quickly identify if you're struggling with toxic shame. The link to the shame quiz is down below in the show notes. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up by clicking the like button. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. It's my intention to grow this channel to help as many people as possible experience the freedom, the total inner freedom that comes when we emerge from the shackles of toxic shame. So thanks for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.